All right, all right. So, I don't know. I don't know, like, if anyone really knew this or not, but I've really been into like Dark Souls and stuff. So, I was kind of chatting with my friend, and this was like forever ago when we were talking about this, but I kind of, in passing, I kind of mentioned I was like, hey, I kind of want to do a YouTube channel type of thing, right? And I kind of told him, like, yo, all fucking, well, one thing led to another, and we started talking about, like, Dark Souls, right? And, it eventually got into the point, I'm like, yo, I'll do a playthrough for you. Why not, right? God, this was probably years ago. I want to say maybe 2 years ago, maybe even more than that. But yeah, no, it's definitely been a while. But here it finally is, and I want to throw it out there. I've loved Dark Souls from like the moment I picked up Dark Souls 1, I believe, back on the PlayStation 3, and it's been so long since I've actually played a Dark Souls game, and well, I just now's a really good time to just kind of get back into it. So this is a playthrough.
The age of ancients.
I'm just gonna let this play.
The world was unformed, shrouded by fog. A land of grey crags, arch trees, and everlasting dragons. But then there was fire. And with fire came disparity. Heat and cold, life and death, and of course, light and dark. Then from the dark they came and found the souls of lords within the flame. Nito, the first of the dead. The Witch of Izalith and her daughters of Chaos. Gwyn, the Lord of Sunlight, and his faithful knights. And the furtive pygmy, so easily forgotten. With the strength of lords, they challenged the dragons. Gwyn's mighty gods peeled apart their stone skins. The witches weaved great firestorms. Nito unleashed a miasma of death and disease. And Seath, the scales, betrayed his own, and the dragons were no more. Thus began the Age of Fire. But soon the flames will fade, and only dark will remain. Even now, there are only embers. And man sees not light, but only endless nights. And amongst the living are seen carriers of the accursed dark side.
Alright, so that was the main opening cutscene. This is kind of just like a little minor thing. Whew, dude, those
Yes,
these opening
indeed.
cutscenes.
The dark sign brands the undead.
Hype as fuck, dude. Hype as fuck.
And in this land, the undead are corralled and led to the north. Where they are locked away to await the end of the world.
Alright.
This is your fate.
So, roughly, I kind of want this playthrough to... It's almost going to be in the niche of, like, kind of like Epic Name Bro, back when he was, doing a lot of just, like, YouTube content for Dark Souls and whatnot. This is going to be sort of like a walkthrough type playthrough thing. Although I haven't played this in years, I do know where a lot of things are. And I guess since we're at the beginning of the game here, I'll kind of go and give my insight on the thing. So I'm kind of doing more of a themed playthrough, and I would not suggest taking the pendant as your item. It just the pendant doesn't do anything for you, so I wouldn't suggest taking it. But you know, it's all up to you. What I would suggest is to pick a pyromancer as your starting class, and the master key as your starting gift, because it allows you to access a lot more content earlier on in the game, as with you know, you would have to wait later on to actually get the master key. I can't quite remember exactly where you do get the master key at this moment, but it was going to definitely be something I look into. And normally I would pick the master key as my starting pendant, but my friend wanted me to pick the pendant, so since this is my playthrough dedicated to him, I will definitely pick the pendant. And for a lot more like veteran players, you might already know what I'm going for here. Just from my starting class and the first couple of things I'm gonna pick up and whatnot. And also, I am using a controller for this, and I am still getting used to it, so please just bear with me. But I'm definitely trying to, definitely trying. So, also, the game might look a lot smoother than it would normally on PC. That is because I downloaded something called DS Fix. Now, it's not like a cheat engine or any type of like, you know, cheating type software. It basically just allows you to set up options as if this were a normal PC game, because if you guys didn't know, the port that they did for Dark Souls 1 was very bad. But DS Fix, you're able to go into options and just, oh, it's fucking beautiful, dude. Like, all of this, 60 FPS, smooth as butter, and just a ton of options. And so this guy is Oscar of Astora. He's the guy who kicked down that dead body to give us the key. He's a pretty cool guy. Now, also, he's also titled kind of in the community as Oscar the Fateless, because he had a lot of content revolved around him in the game and the main storyline of this game. that was cut out for one reason or another. I'm not too sure why he was cut, but basically he was supposed to be your antithesis. So after you get to the final area of the game and you do what you have to do, there's options that you can pick, and he's supposed to be the antithesis of your option. So he would either come in to try to stop you or to try to intervene, basically. So they pretty much just cut all of that out, unfortunately. But let's go ahead and see his dialogue, because it's very, very good.
Oh, you're no hollow. Thank goodness. I'm done for, I'm afraid. I'll die soon, then lose my sanity. I wish to ask something of you. You and I were both undead. Hear me out, will you? Regrettably, I have failed in my mission, but perhaps you can keep the torch lit. There is an old saying in my family: thou who art undead art chosen, and thine exodus from the undead asylum maketh pilgrimage to the land of ancient lords. When thou ringeth the bell of awakening, the fate of the undead thou shalt know. Well, now you know, and I can die with hope in my heart. Oh, one more thing. Here, take this. An Estus flask, an undead favorite. Oh, and this. Now I must bid farewell. I would hate to harm you after death. So go now, and thank you.
So that right there was Oscar actually dying. So, yeah, really, really cool. It's unfortunate that they cut that content out, but pretty powerful scene. Just, kind of like, I guess a minor thing, but I really enjoyed it. And when I saw the cut content for him, like, there's so much cut content that I just thought was amazing in this game that I thought was very unfortunate that they had to cut out. So that, what you saw back there was a backstab. Basically, you get behind a person and you just do massive damage like that. So right here, I'm kind of just one-shotting these guys because I'm two-handing my weapon. So if we go ahead and take a look at it, you'll see right there the kind of like the muscular arm, that's strength, and the hand, that's dexterity. So those are scaling. That's scaling for weapons and whatnot, and if you two-hand a weapon that scales with strength, it'll actually go up. It'll increase your scaling, and it's basically like if you doubled it, you know, so since you're using both your hands. I know this is very shitty commentary, and I'm sorry, but you see how my plus went down? It used to be, what was that, 25? And it went down to a 12. So let's go ahead and check that. You see now it's back up to the 25. So I'm thinking that I have 12 and a half. 12 and a half experience. Now I'm going to go ahead and try something right here with this guy. There we go. Alright, so what I did there was I did a parry on him, and then I swapped to a two-handed stance to do more damage. This is going to be very necessary for what I'm doing later on with this playthrough. So, ooh. Man. Let's see. There we go. So, the reason why I unequipped that was because I was doing something called a mid-roll. So, if we equip that again. You see how I kind of stayed on the ground for a second there at the end of that roll? But then if we unequip that again, this is called a fast roll. So there are 3 types of rolls in the game. One of them is a fast roll, which means you're unencumbered. You have the fastest rolling animation, the best recovery time for that. And I believe it has a little bit to do with your stamina consumption as well. I don't want to get too into that, but then there's the mid-roll, which is slower, but still not terrible. But then there's the fat roll, which gives you the slowest recovery time off of stuff like that. I'm also going to try another little trick here, so... I think I got it? Alright, yeah, I definitely got it. Alright, cool. So, that, I did a jumping attack by pressing forward and R2, and I jumped off the cliff and was able to hit the Asylum Demon here, which did like a plunging attack on him as well, which it'll actually give you two instances of damage on him. That's a cool little trick that you can use for a few bosses in the game. There's not a ton of bosses where you can use that trick, but the bosses that you can use that trick, it can help speed up certain things. So it's just a neat little trick that I like to do, and then I know a lot of speedrunners also do it, just so that they can kill the boss as quickly as possible. Now, let's see here. If I'm not mistaken, alright, so right over there, that's Snuggly the Crow. We don't need to worry about her at the moment, but it's just nice to know. There's a couple little tidbits, because you can actually come back to the Asylum later in the game. And there's also this soul that we're going to pick up here, just for fun. And now we get this. Oh, I mistimed that roll.
Only in the ancient legends it is stated that one day an undead shall be chosen. To leave the undead asylum in pilgrimage to the land of the ancient lords. Lordran.
Whew. God, like, I remember coming here on PC, like, I pretty much played through that part vanilla, and then I played through it using DS Fix, and oh, this is a world of difference. I don't know if playing on PC just spoiled me, but this was just a world of difference. So that was Humanity. Humanity is a consumable item in the game, and I'm gonna go ahead and you're gonna want to keep this bar as clean as possible. Just simply because if you clutter up the bar too much, you're gonna be sifting through your items, and say when you need to chug some Sunny D right here, you're gonna have to cycle through 5 items, and if you're in the middle of combat, it's not good. So basically, Humanity, it's a consumable item, and it gives you what is called 1 Humanity, and it will fully recover your HP, but it has a somewhat long casting time, so it's not really viable, say, in like a PvP scenario or something like that. But you know, when it comes to certain bosses, you could have an opening just to pop that. It's another healing item, so it's quite useful. But Estus is going to be your main form of healing. Now, when we sit down right here, I'm gonna go ahead and level up. Alright, so right here I'm gonna need the audience to forget this next scene. I'm gonna put 1 point right here, and I'm gonna need you guys to never speak of that experience point ever again, okay? I never put a single point into Dex this entire playthrough. Just take that out of your mind. So, we have 10 Estus flasks now. Now let me go down here and show you why we got that. So in Dark Souls, there are things called fire keepers. They basically are the people that keep those fires lit. And you see down here, no response, she cannot speak. Oh god, is that Anastasia? I'm not too sure what her name was, but anyways, so the thing is, she's a fire keeper. Now what fire keepers do is they keep the bonfires lit, and if there's a fire keeper near one of these bonfires, they will actually reinforce your Estus flask. Well, not like that, but it will give you 10 charges when you sit down at one of these bonfires. If you were to sit down at a bonfire that did not have a firekeeper, you would not have 10 charges. You would only have 5. Alright. So, next up on the agenda... I didn't plan things out enough, but, you know, I mean, hey, so is the nature of Dark Souls, right? Like, it's more fun to just jump in and go for it, because I've had a handful of playthroughs, and I know where a decent amount of items are, but I have not played this in a while, so I'm kind of rusty. I do know where to go to get the thing that I want, though, so you guys might already know as we're running over here. Alright, so these skeletons, they cannot die right now, so you're going to want to run away from them and not fight them at all, because these guys will definitely mess you up this early in the game, and even if they don't mess you up, they will still, you know, they just can't die. You need a certain weapon. I believe it was a holy reinforced weapon. And after you have that, you can actually kill them outright until you sit at another bonfire. You see, so that's kind of the thing. If you sit at bonfires to rest, it will recover your HP and give you back your Estus flasks. But the thing is about that is it will also respawn all of the normally respawnable enemies. Now, there are certain enemies, usually like special NPCs and stuff like that. Hey, get out of here. That was weird. Usually they're not supposed to follow you, Alright. So, anyways, there are certain special NPCs. Hey, what are you doing out here? Go home. Go home. Go home, Skelly man. Oh, well, I just aggroed him again. Great. Alright, so as you can see, I'm doing almost no damage with this weapon, right? Even two-handing it with all that, and alright, so... Dude, I am just I'm pretty sure they're not supposed to be able, or they're supposed to respawn. I just... Oh, man. I am making a fool of myself. So much for all that experience I've had in Dark Souls. I don't know, maybe it's after they leave the graveyard they no longer respawn. I never really tried to test it outside of, you know, killing one of the dudes down there normally. Just like, I just tried to kill him and I just, you know, whatever. So this guy's another NPC. His name is Petrus.
Hello there. I believe we are not acquainted. I am Petrus of Thurland. Have you business with us? If not, I'd prefer to keep a distance, if possible.
So he sells a couple pieces of equipment, and he also will sell the character miracles. I believe you have to have a certain faith cap to be able to purchase miracles. So certain NPCs will have special dialogue if they see that you have high intelligence or high faith. They will actually have separate dialogue and kind of say, hey, well, I'm a sorcerer or I'm a priest. Would you like to purchase some items? You know, I have a couple of extra miracles or I have a couple of extra spells if you would like to learn them.
Hello there. I realize that I have requested that we retain our distance. But I also want you to know that it is not meant in ill will. Here, take this as a token of peace. No, go ahead. It's for you.
Okay, a copper coin. I'm just going to go ahead and check this out, read the description. I won't do this for every item, but I'll do it for a couple pieces. So, copper coin. Coin made of copper. Its face shows Old Man McLoif, god of medicine and drink. Even coins of great value in the world of men have little value in Lordran, where the accepted currency is souls. Those who dream of returning to the outside world are fond of carrying these around. So basically, to get like the lore or to get more of the storyline in the game, you're going to need to read a lot of your items. This includes weapons, armor, random consumable items like the copper coin or the fire bombs I just picked up, or humanity, Estus flasks, things like that. So pendant, a simple pendant with no effect. Even so, pleasant memories are crucial to survival on arduous journeys. So basically what that means is, if you have the pendant with you in your inventory through the whole game, it's kind of like that item that you're like, man, this thing has been with me the entire time. It's kind of like a keepsake almost. Like, I've had this item that may not be useful and it may not have any effect, but it's more of the sentimental value of the item. So that's kind of the thing. It's not really meant to have any sort of like special effect or you know, what have you. As much as you'd like to say it does, James, it doesn't. For the last damn time.
You again.
You also have to keep bothering this guy a little bit.
How about this? I have to await my companions here anyway. So what if I were to teach you some miracles? Would that please you?
Yo, man, that sounds pretty good to me.
Very well. Then first, a covenant with the gods.
So you see, that's a covenant. Different covenants do different things. They're not really necessary, but you can take them.
Now let me share my miracles.
We'll kind of go over them.
Their ultimate effectiveness will be determined by your efforts and your faith.
So you see, he's kind of saying that miracles will scale off of your faith. So the higher your faith, the better the miracle will become. So they kind of scale along with your character if you decide to take the route like that. Oh, that's a beautiful gesture. And certain NPCs will teach you gestures. There's only a few that I really care about. It's mainly one that I really care about that is a must get. You need to get it on this kind of playthrough. So anyways, yeah, here's some miracles that he sells. Homeward is pretty useful. Just to go back to a bonfire if you really need to go. Heal gives you extra, you know, it's a heal. So it gives you extra heals. You know, it gives you like extra, basically, you know, you don't need to use your Estus, you don't need to use your humanity, so you don't need to use your consumable items to heal. Mind you, that casting that miracle takes much longer in an animation than it would normally. So this guy has the normal talisman and the Thurlan talisman, which you need to be able to cast these miracles. You need to have one of these equipped in one of your hands to be able to actually cast these miracles. Each class of like magic will have different miracles or different things you use to cast said
Come again.
medium.
The effectiveness of the teachings depend upon your faith.
All right. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and I'll change this one. Alright. So, for miracles, it will be talismans. For sorceries, it will be like staffs. And for pyromancies, you will need something called a pyromancy flame. They will all be equipable kind of like a weapon. Okay, so now with certain boxes like these, there are things called mimics in the game that you're going to definitely want to look out for. So you see how the chain is kind of curved and pointed backwards towards the chest instead of towards the player? That means that this chest is okay. So you can go ahead and open it and you see you get a morning star, you get a talisman. So you don't need to buy a talisman from Petrus up there. You can go ahead and just grab these. Cracked eye orbs, those are to invade other players and to initiate in PvP. And homeward bones will just send you back to the last bonfire you rested at. What you can also do is you can go ahead and give like these chests a quick little whack, just to kind of double check to see if they're a mimic or not. Alright, Lloyd's Talisman, those you throw at people and that will stop them from being able to use Estus for a while. Excuse me. Excuse me, sir. Alright. So there's a little run that I like to do near the beginning of a new playthrough. I can't show it right now because I don't have the master key, but what are you gonna do, right? So reverse hollowing. If you have one humanity in the upper left-hand corner, it'll tell you if you have humanity or not. You can consume one of the humanity that you have to reverse hollowing. So you basically become, you know, you go from being a beef jerky man to a regular human again. But the next time you die, you will actually lose that. You'll become beef jerky man again. So I'm actually going to go ahead and swap over. Let's see. Okay, I need 24 strength. Oh, I have that right now, huh? Alright, well, at that point, oh, you know what? It's half. So let me see. What would I need to hit that? It adds. So basically, for this, you see how the Zweihander takes 24 strength. So basically, what you'll do is you'll take your strength, which right now I have 14, and then you add half of that. So half of 14 is 7, putting me at 21 strength if I were to two-hand the weapon. So let me think here. That I would need 16 strength if I'm not mistaken. So let's go ahead and do that. Yeah, alright, so now you see I'm able to actually wield the weapon normally. So let's kind of go ahead and see. You see how slow that was and how my character kind of like shuffled backwards almost? He kind of like couldn't handle it. But you see now with this, see it's like normal swings. Ooh man, I'm gonna need to up my equipment load. Oi. Okay, let's go ahead and see if I can put my pants back on. Yep, alright. Also, when you two-hand a weapon like this, you can use it to block. It's not the best blocking tool. Like, you can go ahead and see that in the stats. Like, you see how it has a damage reduction percentage. These aren't the best tools for blocking, but, you know, I mean, they'll get you by. Like, in a pinch if you really need it. I don't remember if I'm able to go down here yet. I totally am able to go down here. Alright. So, I can't do the full route that I would normally take here, but I can do part of it. So, you know, come to think of it, I don't even know why I sent that back up. I really didn't need to send that back up. In fact, I honestly shouldn't have sent it back up. Alright, let's go ahead and if we travel right over here, like down over in this area, there's another NPC down there. He sells sorceries. So if you want to play like a mage type character, you can come here to get sorceries, you know, relatively early on. I can't remember exactly what he sells. All I know is he does actually sell stuff. Alright, that's the S-Stock. I might actually play a Dex build again later on. Not too sure. Alright, yeah, I gotta be careful. Alright, so right here. This is definitely not where you want to come at the start of the game to try to clear this area. In fact, you actually cannot clear this area. So these are ghosts. Definitely run away from them. Alright, we're coming over here to get this item. Excuse me. Okay, a Firekeeper's Soul. Oh! Well, alright. That's actually fine. Those 187 souls don't really matter too much. I mean, I already got my levels out of it, so that's perfectly okay. Okay, let's see. I think that's honestly all I can really do. So anyways, so that Firekeeper Soul, let's go ahead and check that out real quick. Alright, so boosts power of Estus Flask. Soul of a long-lost firekeeper. Each firekeeper is a corporeal manifestation of her bonfire, and a draw for the humanity which is offered to her. Her soul is gnawed by infinite humanity and can boost the power of precious Estus flasks. It can be used to gain humanity and restore HP at the cost of losing the firekeeper's soul to reinforce the Estus flask. So basically, it can be used as another humanity, but you really don't want to do that. You're going to want to come down here and hit reinforce Estus flask. Boom. So right there at the start of the game, you have a +1 Estus flask. Now really all that does is it will heal you for more. So every time you use it, you'll get healed for more health than you normally would. Alright, honestly, I don't know how long this video is. That might actually be where I leave off here today. Because I kind of want these to be in more digestible chunks. And I don't know what I really want to do with this series as a whole. Alright, so right here, a lot of the game is just kind of like gauging your surroundings. You never want to be caught off guard. So you see that guy, he throws fire bombs, and he will definitely ruin your day if you let him. Alright, you see right here, this Zweihander is so big that you can actually hit multiple people with it. So that's another nice little thing to know about it. Okay, so I just tried to do something called a parry. I already went over this. So in Dark Souls 2 and above, you can actually parry with weapons like this, but I think in this one, you can only parry with certain items, with certain like weapons and stuff. That slam is just very satisfying, and I enjoy it. Alright, so if you can see over there, you see there's another little item over there, but we're going to need to make this